From baiting the trans community,
use your preferred pronouns, be the gender that you feel that you are, but meet me halfway, ladies, lose the cock, that's all I'm saying.
crashing his roast car into Caitlyn Jenner's dignity.
And their headline was, Caitlyn finally breaks silence over Ricky Gervais. I just sent back, at last. She always breaks too late.
Here are 8 times woke people got destroyed by Ricky Gervais. Starting with the time a keyboard warrior tried killing Ricky's excitement for humanity's success.
I fell back in love with stand-up on my last tour, Humanity. I played arenas around the world. Netflix bought it for a record amount. It was the most watched special of the year. I thought, everyone loves me now. Everyone loves me now. Then I got this tweet.
Little did the triggered tweeter know that trying to one-up Ricky was like boxing against Mike Tyson.
Call yourself a comedian. You're about as funny as... Now, I thought it was going to go for the jugular and say, Miranda. Call yourself a comedian. You're about as funny as a fart at a baby's funeral. He was trying to hurt my feelings. But his big mistake was choosing someone that would be fucking hilarious.
Not stopping there, Ricky cashed in the tweet to create more material for his show instead.
A fart at a baby's funeral. Big echoey church. Everyone just silently sobbing like that. Tiny little coffin, tiny little coffin. And someone farts, you'd laugh. Even if it was your baby.
Increasing his blast radius, Ricky dropped a PSA for the rest of Twitter's basement dwellers as well.
But that tweet sums comedy up, doesn't it? How subjective it is. How one person, some people can find them hilarious, some people find them the least funny person in the world. And when someone says to me about another comedian, they say, oh, they're not funny. Even if I agree with them, I stand up, I say, well, you can't say that. You've got to say, you don't find them funny.
And Ricky soon dropped a reality check to the hashtag heroes, who get offended as their first response.
I hate it when people say, that joke was offensive. I gotta say, no, you've got to say, you found it offensive, because it's all about feelings, and feelings are personal. And there's loads of types of comedy, and comedy evolves, you know. There's a new type of comedy at the moment called woke comedy, right? No, it's very progressive, you know.
Disconnecting their mic for good, Ricky shut down woke comedians before they could even pop off.
There are some clubs now where the comedian has to sign a thing saying he won't say anything contentious or he won't say anything that could offend anyone. It's a safe space for the audience. Woke comedy. And I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K.
And that joke could have gotten Ricky cancelled if he didn't protect himself with reality checks in the same special.
Because now, nothing's mental. You can't find something that nothing is considered mental. Everything is a syndrome or an addiction or a preference, right? I could have my legs removed, have wheels put on, identify as a pram, and if you sound mental, you're a bigger, right? Now,
and first on Ricky's hit list was the Sensitivity Squad's hypocrisy.
That's a bit hack, that joke now, isn't it? Oh, I identify as a thing then. But I'm going to leave it in to annoy people, right? Because that's the bit that'll offend people. Same as Humanity. I talk about AIDS, famine, cancer, the Holocaust, rape, paedophilia. But no, the one thing you mustn't joke about is identity politics.
Showing his support, Ricky let the trans movement know he was an ally in his own way.
They just want to be treated equally. I agree. That's why I include them. Full disclosure, in real life, of course I support trans rights. I support all human rights, and trans rights are human rights, you know? Live your best life. Use your preferred pronouns. Be the gender that you feel that you are.
But just when the Transformers thought they had found their Bumblebee, Ricky joined the Decepticons instead.
But meet me halfway, ladies. Lose the cock. That's all I'm saying. And it's mad to think joking about something means you're anti it. Like, I made a joke about self-ID. In fact, I wish self-ID had been around when I was a kid. I'd have used it to get shit. I'd have gone to my mum, Mum, I'm trans. She'd have gone, what?
Capitalizing on DEI, Ricky's self-ID came stamped with the label anti-woke.
I'd have gone, I'm either trans or I need a new bike. She'd have gone, you need a new bike. I'd have gone, you're the boss. But I grew up in the 60s, Jesus. But what if I was a teenager now in these really woke, progressive times, right?
With his woke kid roleplay still going, Ricky pointed out his preferences if he were ever to go to the dark side.
And I had really cool hippie parents, right? And I went, Mother, Father, I'm trans. They'd go, oh goody, that's so fucking trendy, right? And my dad would go, Bagsy, I picked the vagina. I go, thank you, Daddy. Then there'd be like a montage, right? And I'd go to hospital, I'd have all the electrolysis, I'd grow my hair, right? I'd have a big I think.
Before moving on, though, Ricky dunked on the trans community while wearing their own jersey.
And I'd come out and I'd emerge, I'd be a real woman, I'd be Vicky Gervais. And you can't change your sexuality, so I find women attractive, so I'd be a lesbian. And probably be a butch lesbian, because of all the testosterone up till then, right? Also, I like the fashion. Jeans, black t-shirt, short hair, beard.
While Ricky takes shots at the woke community here, he didn't shy away from taking down anti-woke hypocrite celebrities either. in his Golden Globe speech.
Well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world.
Now, that speech he gave was from the 2020 Golden Globes, so of course that joke aged like fine wine. And Conan was the first one to ask for a sip after inviting Ricky on his show.
You've done the Golden Globes before, and you can be quite edgy. And the celebrities, do you think the celebrities out there are nervous? They're nervous about they're going to be sitting there. What will Ricky say about this?
I think so. No one wants to be the butt of a joke, but you know, I'm not going to go out. I'm not trying to ruin their night. I'm making jokes, you know.
But Ricky's frustration flared up so fast, even Conan caught collateral damage for a roast he didn't even sign up for.
I do it about things they've done, not about things they can't help. So I think I'm fair. Do you know? I know,
Yes.
But you know what I mean.
No. You're not making fun of a way they look or how they were.
I wouldn't come out and go, oh look, it's a ginger Frankenstein. Do you know what I mean?
When Ricky went for round 2, however, Conan realized it wasn't friendly fire anymore.
So you're not going to do that?
No, I'm not going to do that, no.
No, well, you wouldn't do that.
I said no at first, I was too busy. Then they said the magic words, you can say what you want again. I went, okay, I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And you write jokes, and even I filter jokes, and I'm writing jokes and thinking, oh, I can't do that, that's too much. And it really bugs me, because maybe I could do them here, no one's watching this.
Before signing off, Ricky shared a joke that was too spicy even for an event as mammoth as the Golden Globes.
Well, there's one joke I thought of. The first joke I thought of when I said yes to host the Golden Globes, I wanted to come out and say, welcome to the Golden Globes. Why is this show like a female elephant? It too has a massive
And while Ricky got away scot-free roasting the entirety of Hollywood, it took just one celebrity from the trans community for Twitter to call the cancel cultists.
I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. Now Caitlyn Jenner, of course. What a year she's had. She became a role model for trans people everywhere, showing great bravery in breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes. She didn't do a lot for women drivers.
While it was Caitlyn who crashed her car, though, Ricky made sure her community got stuck in the wreckage, too.
The big controversy last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence.
And Professor Gervais continued his lecture before throwing a chalk at Caitlyn.
Listen, right? The subject of that joke is stereotypes. I'm playing with the notion of stereotypes, right? So I start off saying, she's a real woman. Some would say a liberal, progressive attitude. Then I go, oh, if she's a real woman, I hit them with the old-fashioned reactionary stereotype. She must be a bad driver then, right? And the target of the joke is a celebrity killing someone in their car.
While Ricky had already left the crash, however, the media was eager to turn a fender bender into a headline collision.
She was interviewed about a week later at some press conference for a show she was launching, now cancelled. And the press were around and one of them said, what do you think of the Ricky Gervais joke? And she went, maybe I should host the Golden Globes, right? And they tweeted that and they atted me in because they want a celebrity feud.
And Ricky's response hit Caitlyn harder than her accident ever could.
I just sent back, let her host. Just don't let her drive. Another website that was in the room, Entertainment Weekly, they tweeted a different headline, and their headline was, Caitlyn finally breaks silence over Ricky Gervais. I just sent back, at last. She always breaks too late.
Caitlyn's outrage officers got riled up over a single joke, and to get a taste of that same special treatment, Ricky underwent a transition himself.
I'm not one of these bigots that think having all that done is science going too far. You know, I don't think it's going far enough, because I've always identified as a chimp, right?
And Ricky explained how his reverse evolution was already close to completion.
Don't ever call me Ricky Gervais again. From now on, you call me Bobo. So I'm halfway there, to be honest. I'm sort of short with short legs and long arms. I sort of stoop like that. My back's getting hairier by the day.
Ready with backup, Bobo Gervais came with receipts for his species transition.
And once, I was at the zoo, and I could tell people were looking at me, so I just started masturbating. So I've got to live as a chimp for a year, then have hormones, get me all nice and hairy. That'd be lovely, right? I'm going to stay a male chimp, so I can keep all that.
With Darwin rolling in his grave, Ricky gave trans people a great alternative for gender surgery.
I reckon that's got to be easier for a man to turn into a chick than for a man to turn into a woman in many ways. You know what I mean? A bit of hair and a top lip like that, as opposed to your cock and balls ripped off and a hole gouged out.
But instead of woke culture, it was Ricky's entire female crowd that was naturally selected for his last-minute punchline.
And I'm not saying I think chimps are better than women. No way. Right? To me, every single one of you is equal to a chimp.
While Ricky went after outrage Olympians this time, he cranked it up in another special, Science, by mocking the pressure the culture heaps on everyone else.
I'm trying to avoid the phrase fat mental bird. That's what she was. Why do people use euphemisms like that? They go, but you've said it. You've said mental. In fact, you've said it so more people can understand.
Soon, Ricky also shared the mental gymnastics required for being politically correct.
And they don't want to say fat anymore. They don't want to say fat because it's a derogatory term. It's not, it's descriptive. They say things like, oh, you know Brenda? No. You know Brenda. But big girl.
And it didn't take long for Ricky to justify his special's name.
I've been accused in the past. I've never had a go at fat people. I've only ever pointed out the scientific fact that you get fat if you take in more calories than you burn off.
Not stopping there, Ricky commented on how ironic it is to hear a fat person complain about their weight.
They knew that is what was happening. No one ever got fat behind their own back. No one ever went, oh, what the f*** is that?
And Ricky wasn't finished with the McAddict community.
No one's creeping in to thin people's apartments and injecting their lettuce with 1,000,000 calories. They're doing it with their own free will, and they know that's what's making them fat, okay?
Before getting off the treadmill, however, Ricky had one last bit of diet advice for his XXL fans.
But I don't judge them in any other aspect of their life. I don't make value judgments. I don't want any fat people to feel uncomfortable at one of my gigs, so next time, buy 2 seats.
While Ricky roasted extra-large t-shirts in this special, he soon found himself in an extra-large controversy while mocking Hollywood's casting guidelines.
Do you know the actor Peter Dinklage? Do you know Peter Dinklage? And I don't know what brought it up, but he suddenly started going off on one. So I'm like, oh God. He was going, it's fucking disgusting. They're still doing productions of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's fucking demeaning. It's 2023.
But even veterans like Ricky can't resist dropping the most cliched dwarf joke of all time.
He wasn't happy. He was grumpy, wasn't he?
And Ricky played the debate on both sides of the dwarf cast argument.
Dancing around Snow White for 3 weeks of the year, that is their like holy grail, and he's going to fuck it for them. If he takes that, what can they do? And you should do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with normal size actors. You can't do that either. You get in trouble for that in Hollywood, or you can't take a dwarf's job.
But Ricky's real target was the moral mafia, who went after Eddie Redmayne's role.
Redmayne got in trouble when he played Stephen Hawking in the biopic, The Life Story of Stephen Hawking, right? Won an Oscar for it, and that's when the backlash started. People going, no, it should be played by a real disabled creature. The actor should have the same disability as the person they're portraying.
And Ricky signed off on a common sense check that the virtue vigilantes could never cash in.
But it was the life story of Stephen Hawking, right? So for the first part of the film, the c*** could walk, right? Or get an actor who can't walk, pretend he can for the first...
And just like that girl's casting, the Offense Office tried silencing Ricky on his previous special, only for him to return twice as savage on this current one.
My last show, Supernature, dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? People going, you can't say that. You can. You can. I did. The inevitable backlash, which made it the most watched special of the year, so...
But what Ricky announced next almost gave his audience a mini heart attack.
No, I have learned my lesson, and that's why I'm going to be woke. Well, I am woke, and now I'm woke, the first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm woke, I've got to pop in the word anti-fascist, so people know I'm not a fascist.
And Ricky couldn't help but point out the ridiculous bios that listed sensitivity like job titles.
People come up to me on the street and they go, Rick, have you been imprisoning journalists? I go, no. They go, oh, interesting. They go, have you been gassing Jews? I go, no. They go, well, pop it in your bio then, you silly cunt. I'm not a fascist.
To hammer the mockery nails on the woke culture's coffin, Ricky role-played Diddy next.
It's like going into a school and going, I'm not a pedo, so just forget I even mentioned it. So these kids are safe running around me, don't they? They can run around naked for all I care.
Not stopping there, Ricky pointed out the linguistic casualties of the woke culture war.
Of course, the word fascist has changed. Traditionally, the word fascist meant a member of a far-right authoritarian regime that uses militarism and violence to suppress individual rights. Now, the word fascist can mean liked a Joe Rogan tweet.
As if hanging up the trans community to dry wasn't enough, though, Ricky went after the disabled Community next.
So words change, is my point. Like the word handicapped. Again, traditionally, that was the politically correct term, the all-inclusive term for cripples and shit. But then they went, no, we want to be disabled. They didn't want to be disabled. They said, well, we want to be referred to as disabled. We don't like the term handicapped anymore.
And Ricky just needed one last joke to put the PC police in their own cells.
And that's great. Just tell me the rules now. In fact, I'm a stickler for the rules. Like, if I was on a beach and a woman came running up and went, help, help, I go, sorry, you're what, love? What? Do you mean your disabled toddler is drowning? She'd go, yeah. I go, right, well, it's, dead.
Which just goes to show that Ricky will always destroy woke people who get too out of line.